on this big half right here, I want you to write down a list of fruits and vegetables that you will try, that you like, that you have tried, that are remote possibilities of including, and just write that list down here for yourself. In this top section right here, a list of grains. Now, we need to touch on the grain part. What they're recommending here is grains are whole grains. Does everybody have an idea of what a whole grain is? Brown rice is one. What else?
Wheat bread.
Whole wheat bread. It's got to say whole. Don't be fooled by wheat bread. Or, what do they call them? Or made with. It has to say 100% whole wheat or whole grain. And they're playing with these tickets too. Brown rice. Corn tortillas are whole grains. It's ground up corn and water. Nada más. It's one of the best choices you can make for yourself. One of the easiest ways, especially for the Hispanic community, is to go back to corn. Go back to corn. That's where one of the most insidious forms of, one of the things that's most insidious in influencing overweight, obesity, and diabetes in the Hispanic community has been white flour, white sugar, and white rice. Those three things. They are not a part of our traditional diets, and they have not only come into our diets, but they have replaced many of the traditional foods that kept us healthy. The Spaniards, the British, all of the immigrants from Europe, when they came here and they saw the native peoples here, they wrote about this was the most beautiful group of people they had ever seen. They were perfect, like David's sculptures. Perfect people, perfectly formed. And then they brought their food with them. They brought pork, they brought sugar, they brought wheat, they brought rice from Asia. And slowly but surely it worked its way into our diets until here we are today. We have very little left of our traditional foods, and we're paying the price. Our communities are suffering for it. There are entire groups of Native American tribes in Arizona, in Utah, in New Mexico. 90% of them are diabetic. An entire tribe of people. And it's all about the food and the lifestyle. One of the easiest things we can do is leave the flour and go to corn. One of the best things you could do. I really encourage you to start doing that. And restaurants now more and more are making really good corn tortillas. So, corn tortillas. Oatmeal. Brown rice, that's a tough one. Brown rice is tough. It takes longer to cook. They're not serving it anywhere. But if we're making the good choices around all the other stuff, a little white rice, whole grain pastas, they're everywhere now. It's not hard to find. You cannot eat a huge plate of whole grain pasta. I promise you, you can't do it. You'll serve it up like you would white pasta, and about halfway through you're like, whoa. And you put it in a container and take it to work the next day for lunch. You can't do it. You cannot eat the same portion of whole grain pasta that you can of the white stuff. Give it a try. Give it a try. So let's spend a few minutes making our list, and in the meantime, if something pops into your head or if you have a question about, can I put this on my list? Just ask me. But let's spend some time making this, because I want you guys to kind of pay attention to it over the next few weeks and see if we can start making some moves towards having plates that are more like that. I'll be bringing some recipes and stuff that have that include vegetables in a way that is a little bit novel, and so over time we'll be having recipes with the lessons and stuff that'll help with that.
So the fruits and vegetables go together on one side.
Yeah, fruits and vegetables on one side, and you can separate them out for yourself. But just like thinking things, because you're going to start thinking like, wow, I can't think of any veggies. Or I can't think of fruits. And that's where we need to like kind of exercise, start figuring out our options. And under that meat category, I want you to put down nuts and beans. Don't forget them. And what we're looking for is a 10-inch plate.
10-inch, I put on 8.
Yeah, a 10-inch plate. Typically now what we have is a 12-inch plate, which is about that big, end to end. And so what we're looking for is something smaller. And then if you fill that up half with vegetables, some whole grains, your meat portion about the size of a deck of cards or the palm of your hand, although some of us have larger hands than others. So a deck of cards would be a better judge for that protein portion. And you'd be surprised, you don't need that huge plate. Because what ends up happening is that we overeat. We stuff ourselves. If you feel stuffed after a meal, like, oh wow, your stomach's out to here, distended, you ate too much. You got to stop sometime before that. It's easy to do if your plate's smaller. How much of your plate should be fruits and vegetables?
Half.
That's easy. And then these best grain choices: enriched white bread, white rice, and saltines. Flour tortillas, donuts, and Twinkies. 100% whole grain cereal, bread, and crackers. Or no grains at all. Let's go with the caveman diet, the paleo diet. No grains. C is the best answer. If you're going to eat grains, 100% whole grain, bread, and crackers would be your best choice. Yeah, loaded with salt. Any of that stuff that you buy in the middle of the store where it comes either frozen, fast packages, anything that comes on a shelf typically has at least 6 months shelf life. Right? How am I going to make a product that lasts 6 months on a shelf? I'm going to put preservatives, I'm going to put salt, I'm going to use hydrogenated oils so that it doesn't spoil. It's just yeah, that's the only way. Some of that stuff even longer. I put Twinkies here because Twinkies, 18 years, and you can still bite into a Twinkie. That is scary stuff right there. 18 years, it's still soft. What kind of calories do we want? Do we want high quality, nutrient dense calories, or do we want any kind of calories as long as we stay under X number of calories per day? The idea is to make healthy choices, not just low calorie choices. How are we doing? What's the hardest thing to remember or to think of? The grains?
The whole grain.
The whole grains? Anybody need ideas? You know what's a whole grain that's not too bad is Triscuits. In terms of crackers, Triscuits are one of the better choices, and they even have a low salt one. They've got them now with like rosemary and olive oil. They've got all kinds of like interesting flavors and stuff. It's whole grain. Can't eat too many of them. So you could have that with, some kind of a really nice cheese. Don't get crazy on the cheese. As an appetizer or even a snack. 5 Triscuits, a couple domino-size pieces of cheese, and you're good for a snack right before that CrossFit that you're going to do. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about pre-exercise foods and stuff like that. But a good snack that's not going to make you feel like, because CrossFit can make you feel like puking. But you need the energy, because otherwise you bonk before the exercise is over. So you got to have something. 5 or 6 Triscuits, a couple pieces of cheese, and you'll make it through that. An apple, some cheese, an apple with peanut butter, stuff like that. What else is hard besides the whole grains? Oatmeal's a whole grain. Oatmeal is one of the best ways to lower LDL cholesterol. Of course, brown rice. I saw some brown rice that's quick cook. It's like, what do they call it?
Uncle Ben's, and it's really good.
What is it?
Uncle Ben's.
Uncle Ben's. It's quick. It's quick brown rice. It's not bad. There's a lot of whole grain cereals out there. Kashi, the brand Kashi, sells some pretty good breakfast cereals. Barley.
We sell General Mills and Kellogg's, I'm sorry.
I'll have to look and see if General Mills and Kellogg's are making. I'm sure that they are. Everybody's jumping on this bandwagon trying to make healthy cereals. In our next class, we're going to learn about, because I know you guys are going to do it, and we're going to learn how to read labels. And we'll learn about how do we decide what's a healthy cereal, what's a healthy bread, when we're reading those little labels and stuff, because we got a lot of things to pay attention to. So that'll be our next class. So, and if you want to, if you have some product that you're like really excited about, you think that's really healthy and stuff, bring the box, and we'll do an analysis on that label ourselves. By the time we finish next class, you guys are going to be experts in label reading. And then you're going to go look at that zucchini and be, where's the label? And you'll think of me. So good job, good job. I hope you guys got some good information out of that. There's a lot more to read in these handouts. And if there's any more questions or anything, the coaches are sure to be able to answer. And I'll be back next week, so you can ask me as well.